Thank you. Good afternoon. Please sit down. The Right Honorable Minister Datu Sri Mustafa bin Mohammed, Secretary Albert Del Rosario, Ambassador Eduardo Malaya, Secretary Cesar Purisima, Secretary Domingo, Secretary Almendras, Secretary Coloma, Secretary Abad, Secretary Delis and N. Antonino, of course, Mr. Ramonang, Dato Asmil Khalid, Mr. N. Rajendran, Tan Sri Michael Yeo, although my Secretary of Finance thought we were going to meet also Michelle Yeo. Perhaps in the next 3. Members of the Philippine and Malaysian business delegations, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Only a few years ago, if one were asked to characterize the general psyche of the Filipino people, cynicism, apathy, and disillusionment with the political system would probably be among the first adjectives one would come up with. In 2010, however, my people were presented with a chance to take a stand for our collective future, and as one, they rose and gave us a mandate for change. They told us, it is time to rid government of corruption. It is time to inject life into an ailing economy. It is time to once and for all realize the vast potential of the Philippines. Armed with the trust of our countrymen, my administration embarked on the challenge of reversing 10 years of lost opportunities and transforming government from the inside out to issue empty promises in favor of true public service that redounds to an abundance of opportunities for our people. We knew that change would not take place overnight. To fast-track the country along the path of progress, we first had to remove existing obstacles. In those days, I likened government to a grand house that had fallen in disrepair. Our systems, so to speak, were dilapidated and inhospitable. The first thing we did was to stabilize the foundations and to undertake a top-to-bottom cleaning, fixing cracks, plugging leaks, and getting rid of debris. Upon taking office, we introduced zero-based budgeting to eliminate ineffective programs and projects, and channel funding into initiatives that had proven to have a tangible impact on our people. We also tightened processes, held those who had abused the system to account, and appointed officials of unquestionable integrity to key offices. Today, almost 4 years down the line, some may be asking, where did those early efforts lead? The answer, a government that works with and for the people, and a re-energized nation that enjoys the goodwill and respect of the world. We have streamlined the process of setting up shop in our country. This was done through a Philippine business registry that integrates the business registration processes of several agencies into a one-stop shop. Together with cutting down processing time and paperwork, this effectively removes from the equation individuals who have no qualms about hindering the process for the chance to extract bribes. This example reflects the large-scale transformation in the way government does business. Today, contracts are awarded based on your qualifications as a bidder and not on who you know. Today, we do things by the book, following the correct procedures and upholding our laws, thereby removing the risks and repercussions that the system tainted by corruption must contend with. On top of this, prudent fiscal management gave us the wherewithal to invest in areas that would strengthen our bid for inclusive growth. We have massively invested, for example, in what I consider our country's strategic advantage, the Filipino people. The lion's share of our budget continues to go to education, healthcare, and social services, programs and projects that will have the most direct impact on our people's well-being, and which will redound in the long term to a more vibrant, more skillful, and more productive workforce. From shifting to a focused 12-year basic education cycle to providing skills training in key sectors, from expanding and enhancing healthcare coverage to providing cash incentives to poor households so long as they keep children in school. Send these children, as well as expecting mothers, to regular checkups and have parents or guardians participate in family development sessions. Our government is there for the Filipino people every step of the way. Every aspect of what used to keep the Philippines from fulfilling its potential, everything that made us the sick man of Asia, our government has systematically dismantled. And at every stage, we have received a vote of confidence from both our people and the global community. In terms of governance, our countrymen affirmed the mandate they entrusted to us by filling 9 out of 12 senatorial positions with candidates we recommended to them. Through political will, the determination to bring about lasting peace and stability and mutual trust among all stakeholders, and with the help of partners like Malaysia, the Filipino people are on the cusp of lasting peace in Muslim Mindanao, the southernmost portion of our country. A peace that will likewise open the floodgates of opportunity for the provinces in that region. Harnessing the entire archipelago is part and parcel of our bid to become a more competitive nation. As we invest in our people, so too have we ramped up on spending on vital infrastructure, most recently increasing the budget from $7.16 billion in 2013 to around $9 billion this year. Together with the menu of public-private partnerships that investors can and have been a part of, this amount will fund the upgrading of our road network, the rehabilitation of existing infrastructure, and the construction of new ports and airports in key areas, addressing a long-neglected need and boosting our competitiveness as a destination for investments. This has no doubt contributed to our upward climb in competitiveness ranking indices. Indeed, the Philippine economy has been revitalized. Our fundamentals have been given a clean bill of health by not just one, but all 3 major credit ratings agencies, as the Philippines achieved investment-grade status for the first time in history last year. I emphasize that this took place amidst a more uncertain global milieu, with credit ratings agencies tightening their processes and arriving at more conservative estimates. Other institutions have followed suit in affirming the newfound emergence of our economy and the effectiveness of our reforms. The World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report shows a 26th place jump in the Philippines' rankings over the span of the last 3 years, from 85th in 2010 to 59th in 2013. The World Bank and the International Finance Corporation's latest Ease of Doing Business report records a 30th place jump in our rankings in the span of only a year, from 138th place last year to 108th in the report released in 2014. The Corruption Perception Index, prepared by Transparency International, likewise reflects vast improvement for my country. From a ranking of 134th in 2010, the Philippines is now at 94th place, a 40-rank leap. On top of these accolades, foreign and domestic investments are growing steadily. Industry, especially the manufacturing sector, has been expanding, and we remain one of the fastest growers in the region. These are only some of the successes that have propelled the Philippines to its current position as a bright spot in the global economy and a strong contender in the race to attract investors like yourselves. Projections for our future are similarly optimistic. According to the population projections of the United Nations, the Philippines will enter a demographic sweet spot by 2015, with the majority of our population reaching working age. This means that if and when you decide to set up shop in the Philippines, you will be met with an empowered, talented workforce, one that is creative, loyal, and hardworking. This dovetails with another report, this time from Ernst & Young, that says the Philippines will enter a growth sweet spot, bringing with it increased private consumption as early as 2019. An ADB paper continues the trend, estimating that more or less 80% of Filipinos will have achieved middle-class incomes or higher by 2030. This creates a virtuous cycle of an empowered consumer base and a productive labor force, integral factors for a mutually beneficial partnership between your companies and our people. Now, our government is in a position to realize the collective aspirations of our citizenry and to overcome the challenges that remain. Challenges, for instance, in the form of calamities. You will, of course, be familiar with the scope of devastation wrought by Typhoon Haiyan, how it affected more than half of our 81 provinces, claimed the lives of so many Filipinos, and cost billions of pesos in damage. In the wake of Haiyan's destruction, our government is determined not just to restore normalcy, but we intend to build back better. Infrastructure is being repaired and rebuilt to become more impervious to calamities. Resilient housing will also be built in safe zones as government helps to revive businesses and livelihoods. We are working precisely so that Haiyan-affected communities rise from the rubble as stronger, more vibrant, more inclusive areas of opportunity. As you can see, it is foresight and oversight in planning that allow us to move beyond short-term gains and keep our eye on the long-term agenda for the Philippines. Our pursuit of sustainable economic growth, in essence, is also an effort to build back better, so that the firm foundations of today lead to permanent change that allows more and more Filipinos, together with our foreign partners, to harness our natural advantages. This is why, on top of our traditional strengths in the services sector, we are focusing on the industries of infrastructure and agriculture and tourism. With this in mind, let me invite all of you to come and visit the Philippines. It is certainly easier to do so today, since our government has already liberalized the aviation industry and enacted legislation that will entice more carriers to open or expand operations there. When you do arrive, you will be greeted with world-class accommodations and shopping centers, diving and surf destinations, and more importantly, a people famed the world over for their friendliness and hospitality. You will also witness firsthand how government is working to make traveling within the country smooth and trouble-free. So it will be easy for businessmen like you to visit prospective sites for factories or plantations, and even take a detour to one of our beaches afterwards. My country has plenty to offer. Wherever you choose to go, I guarantee that you will have the most fun in the Philippines. This stands for business and industry as well. As potential investors, you have the option of exploring different sectors, from manufacturing to tourism to agriculture, particularly in oil palm or palm oil, which we're debating as to which the proper term would be, in which I know Malaysia has had so much success in. The members of my cabinet here today will be very happy to answer any and all questions you may have, and perhaps even to tour you around our country when you do decide to come over. As Malaysia and the Philippines open a new chapter in our relations, a chapter built on mutual trust and a shared commitment to working together for greater stability and trade opportunities within our region, you are in the perfect position to take advantage of the opportunities presented. It is with great confidence that I tell you, the Philippines is where your next success lies. Those who have already bet on our people and reaped the gains of their investment can attest to this. Companies like Maybank, Resorts World, and Alloy Mtd. I am hopeful that after today, we will be able to add to this very fine roster, that many of you will join us in realizing the vast potential of our peoples and the entire region. Mindanao, for example, has land so fertile that a patch of it left unattended for even a short while becomes quickly overgrown. Now that lasting peace in that particular region has come within reach, perhaps investing this early in Mindanao is an opportunity that is presenting itself to all of us. I'm sure all of us at some point in time have had the experience of passing up on an opportunity and perhaps regretting having passed on that opportunity. Perhaps none of you in this room had predicted the turnaround, or none of us rather in this room had predicted the turnaround that happened in our country over a relatively short period of time. Now we are all presented with another opportunity to reap the maximum gains from a country that is experiencing rapid growth and is set to sustain such growth over many years. May I pose this question? Is anyone here really willing to pass up on this opportunity and set yourselves up for regret somewhere down the line? It is with enormous pride in my people that I stand before you as their representative to show how the long days and nights we have collectively put into reviving the economy have borne fruit. I am convinced, and I believe you too will be, the Philippines, once the laggard of Asia, is now entering a sustainable cycle of empowerment and opportunity, and a trajectory of growth where no one is left behind. Please do join us in this journey. Thank you. Good day.